you've already forgotten. So the question came to me like not too long ago. Do you remember those old if you like you saw them either when they came out originally or later on YouTube, those old Crash Bandicoot commercials where he would drive up to
Yep.
Nintendo of America in an old beat up pickup truck and go, "Hey, plumber boy, mustache man," that sort of thing. So now that was funny, and it definitely makes sense why they would try to have some form of a rivalry because, well, Nintendo also invented the PlayStation. But here's my question, like just looking at it with benefit of hindsight, why was the attempted rivalry Mario and Crash and not Mario and Spyro?
Well, at the time, this is for Crash 1's release, and that was around 96, if I'm right, if I have my if I have my dates correct. Spyro wasn't even conceived at that point in time. I think Insomniac were actually at work at Disruptor during 96.
That's all, folks.
But if we're going,
Oh.
to a hypothetical thing, well, if all the stars aligned and it turns out that Spyro came out before Crash and Spyro was the game that was being made, that was going to be the main like platformer for PS1 to like go head to head with Mario 64, and what if both games came out around the same time? How different do you think the reception? So actually, even go further than that. Say that Spyro came out before Mario 64. How different do you think the reception to Mario 64 would have been? After
Oof.
like the shock of like an open world 3D game on the PS1 was already there, and that was over with.
Oh wow, yeah. Like the ice would have already been broken, and on like the brand new baby console of that generation, and then suddenly Mario 60, like I'm sure Mario 64 would have still been revered as a classic, like because it's freaking Mario. But if Spyro had come, like if we were to just change around some of the release dates, like if it was Spyro then Mario 64 in both in 96, but Spyro came out first, and then Crash came out in 98. Wow, that would be crazy.
That would actually completely change the landscape, I think, of like how we look at fucking platformers today.
Yeah.
Like just thinking of it, like so like Mario like 64, like in our timeline, the canon timeline, is like it's gone down as like one of the most influential games in history. Like it's like one, oh look how revolutionary this is. Look at no one done this before. Look at you have like all this fucking camera movement, and you can just go anywhere you want and jump around like a little maniac. But if Spyro came out before that with all them colors and those fucking graphics and those like shiny little gems, and you could fly and you could breathe fire and chase after fucking sheep and shit and head bash that. I don't know, like that just to me seems like
There's Mario 64 had over the first Spyro game, and that is a consistent hub world where you've got courtyard, you've got the entry hall, the basement, and then the second floor of the cat. Like it all, like granted, you've got doors that act as transition screens, but it's all one consistent world. Meanwhile, Spyro 1, you traveled between hub worlds. It wasn't until Spyro 2 that, at least stylistically, the hub worlds were all interconnected, which I prefer Avalar to Peach's Castle just because it feels bigger, and no matter where I am in the hub worlds, it still feels like I'm part of this one gigantic fucking castle. But I think that's the one that would be the one thing that Mario 64 would have had over the first Spyro game. But if Spyro had come out first, then Mario 64, and then suddenly Spyro 2 would come out, it would actually feel like a proper rivalry. Like they're actually like competing. It's like, oh, so you've got one consistent hub world, boom.
So the question is, why, when Spyro was being in development and about to be released, why didn't they dress someone up in a Spyro suit and go out to Nintendo headquarters and start blowing fire at it? Like setting it on fire and like fucking have Mario coming out with his pants on fire like, oh, I'm Luigi, I'm Luigi. missed opportunity if you ask me. Spyro would have made a bit more sense because he could have charged everyone out. He could have charged after Mario and like fucking. Yeah, I'm going too far into this. We should just make the trailer ourselves. That actually would have been a lot of fun though if they did do the rivalry between Mario and Spyro.
Yeah.
Because with Crash, as you said, they're two completely different games, but Mario and Spyro make a lot more sense because they're both very similar. They're both open world, they're both collectathons, they both play very similarly. I'm thinking back to the old like Sega Genesis ads with blast processing where they used to show like the NES or the SNES even with like fucking Mario Kart and it's going all slow and all, and then they show fucking Sonic going like speeding like fucking across the screen and all. It's like they could have done something like that where it's like Mario can do this and like he does the he like what is it? He does the dive and then Spyro does the glide and like but Spyro can glide, Mario can just dive and die.
But now that Nintendo's like just doing their own thing now. No one really sees them as quote unquote rivals.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're working together with people a lot. Like they're working heavily with Ubisoft, Bethesda, and now they're working like really close with Microsoft. So I'm wondering, what if Nintendo does with, well, Insomniac isn't working on Spyro anymore, but with Toys for Bob, what they did with freaking Ubisoft with Mario and Rabbids, where they say, hey, here's the license, make a Mario game, and because they also have the rights to Spyro, we get a crossover game, or like Mario Odyssey DLC in the various dragon worlds of the original Spyro trilogy.
Are you saying Spyro for Smash?
Spyro for Smash, please.
No, I think that would be fucking awesome though. Have you played Mario and Rabbids yet? I can't talk.
I have not played Mario and Rabbids.
It's fucking great. I don't even like turn-based combat, but I got really into this game, and it's something that shouldn't work, but it works so well, and like it's just so fun and satisfying to play. And if they would do something with that isn't with fucking rabbits. That like are characters that I fucking despise for kind of like destroying Rayman for a while. If they could make me love Rabbids, then what the hell could they do with like? I mean, I know it'll be a different developer. Well, maybe not. I mean, well, it would be. I mean, say it was with Toys for Bob, and Toys for Bob made like Mario and Spyro Kingdom Battle, or Mario and Crash Kingdom Battle, or Mario Crash and Spyro and Rabbids fucking force them.
No, kick the Rabbids out and just put Rayman back in.
Yes, that's such a much better idea. What has happened to Rayman? Where is Rayman gone?
I think like Rayman Legends and Rayman Origins. I think that was the last time.
Yeah, and they were so good as well. Although I still want a Rayman 4, 3D Rayman, please, thank you.
I actually found Rayman Revolution at the last convention I was at.
Yeah, did you get it?
I can't wait.
Did you play it? Should I say? Of course you got it.
My massive.
Yeah. What do you have in it? What is there?
Hang on. Let me look across the room.
He brings in a fucking truck.
It's in a giant cardboard box. I can't even count from this distance.
Just goes out to your shed, and on the shed door has Mike's backlog.
I'll take a picture of my backlog box down here and send it to you.
Brilliant. What is included in this backlog? You don't need to name it all, because
mostly RPGs and platformers.
Who would have guessed?
I am currently trying to get through Banjo and Kazooie, but as much as you would say Mario 64 hasn't aged well, I would say that hasn't really aged well. There's some elements of it, and that's going to be more controversial than the Mario 64 statement.
I played Banjo Kazooie on Xbox. It was the up-res remastered kind of version that was released for 360. I think. It was fucking awesome. I loved it. I don't know how the original plays or looks, but from what I played of the one on Xbox One that was made for 360, I thought it was awesome. But go on.
Then there's also a bunch of PlayStation 1 stuff, which is like multi-discs RPGs. Then I've got several PS2, 3, and a couple of PS4 art games to play. I've just got so much shit.
Nice. Well, that's a good it's a good thing to have. It's good. Actually, you know what? The more I said that, and the more I look over, the more I'm like, fucking hell, that's actually more of a burden than anything, because I have so much shit to play as well, and mostly it's fucking PS4 games. And a few PS2 games. PS1, one or two, but nothing really. Like, PS4 is really my main backlog at the moment. Oh, and Switch. Fucking hell, Switch. I have so many digital games on Switch, it's not even funny.
Oh, yeah.
I got Shantae, by the way. Still haven't touched it. Haven't touched it yet.
They recently announced Shantae 5.
Yeah, really?
Well, if you got Half Genie Hero on Switch, then that's a good entry point. That was my entry point. It may be the fourth game in the series, but they took out one of the elements from the previous games, which I wouldn't say is a bad thing, but it's definitely something that I hope they bring back for the fifth game. But playing through 4 on Switch is definitely a good place to start. And if you really like the game, after playing through that, then you've got the third game on 3DS, or you can order the limited run games release of it on Switch. The second game is on Steam, and the first game, if you still have a 3DS, is on the eShop.
I'll figure it out when I get there, I guess. No, I do.
Yeah,
I think I like it though. It looks right up my alley.
But back to Spyro, actually.
Oh yeah, we're talking about Spyro.
I don't know if this has any truth behind it, but this is a huge, heavy rumor that I'm crossing every finger that this is true. But apparently the Reignited trilogy is going to be releasing on Switch and PC. According to GameStop from Germany, apparently it's releasing, no joke, on my birthday.
Ooh. You didn't get the PS4 version, no? Because it was they fucked over with the digital, like you have to download Spyro 2 and 3.
Yeah, that might be the same case with the Switch version, but
I'll say this: if Activision are too cheap to put an extra disc in a fucking box, I think they're gonna be much worse when it comes to fucking a cartridge that costs like 6 times the price of a disc.
But see, here's the thing. As much as I'm very much against purely digital downloads, because I'm always worried that they're just gonna and disappear after a single update, because like that happens for whatever reason, and I don't know why. I'm a little more comfortable with digital downloads on Switch because, unlike something like download to PS4, if you suddenly put in more game discs and then like your downloads go off to the side, they don't disappear, and you don't have to like click into your library and then scroll down a bunch of pages just to see if it's still there. The Switch interface is like, it's super simple, and and makes me a little less paranoid. I still don't like having to download games all the damn time, but I'm a little more comfortable with it on Switch than on anything else. So if they do have to release Spyro 2 and 3 as download codes, I'm not gonna like it, but I'm probably gonna like go through with it.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Bayonetta, which kind of pissed me off when they released Bayonetta 1 and 2 on Switch. You have to download number 1. I was like, whatever.
That
but
annoyed me.
Yeah, but I just wish they'd make the fucking cartridges bigger. Like, come on, make them cheaper and bigger, so they could fit more shit on them.
I think they're reaching a point where the cartridge manufacturing is going to be a little bit cheaper for the higher capacity ones. So they're going to give the 36 gig to like that like that's going to be the new standard, and then they're going to come out with new Nintendo first party cartridge size, which is probably going to be bigger. So that might happen.
I hope so. Especially with the rumors of the like Nintendo Switch Pro coming out, like maybe they'll want to like if that extra power is going to need extra space, to like for the games to capitalize on it. So I don't know.
But if the Reignited trilogy does come to Switch, this might be a chance for Nintendo to do some Mario Odyssey DLC or a Mario Odyssey sequel to try and compete, because again, Sandbox Mario is a lot similar to Spyro's basic gameplay.
Well, you saying like to put Mario or put Spyro as a character in Mario Odyssey? Like that would be fucking, or put a Spyro outfit in Mario Odyssey.
Maybe a Spyro outfit. I was
Yeah.
thinking like maybe a DLC kingdom where you're running around. So maybe they'll have it be like the Yoshi Kingdom, but it's looks suspiciously like the Dragon Realms.
That would be actually oh my god, that'd be so surreal. Have fucking Mario run around Avalar or something. Fucking hell.
Oh god, yeah. or maybe give the Switch version of Reignited Amiibo support, and if you scan in the Mario Amiibo, Spyro looks at you and says, "What?"
And they put a little mustache on him. We can dream, right?
Oh god, we can come up with a million different things.
It's just popped into my head. And it would be really surreal on the Switch as well. Spyro Legacy Collection, and it has every single Spyro game on it, including 1, 2, and 3 because of the Reignited trilogy, and every single one ever released on a Nintendo console. Including including fucking Enter the Dragonfly, which is on GameCube.
Actually, going back to your original question of would the timeline be very different if Spyro had come out before in '96 and before Mario 64, and then there was this Mario 64 2, maybe that would have given them enough time to work on Enter the Dragonfly and actually make it, playable.
I remember playing Enter the Dragonfly as a kid, actually, and I had no concept of shit or good at the time. But I remember playing Enter the Dragonfly, and I was just charging around because I was stuck in the game and didn't know where to go. And I was just charging around, and charged into the gate at the bottom of the first hub world, and I just went through it.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, so that was what I was supposed to do. And then I went around, and then I couldn't get back out, and I was like, what the fuck? I was so confused.
If you head bash and clip the corner of a puddle of water, like it starts the swim animation, so you can basically swim through the air, which is essentially just flying infinitely.
It's amazing. The game is a fucking masterpiece in all the wrong ways.
There are some games that people play because they're good games. There are some games people play just because they're hilariously broken. But yeah, like the possibility of a rivalry, the potential funny commercials we could have gotten instead of Crash, and now with Sandbox Mario coming back with Mario Odyssey and the Spyro Reignited trilogy, also that's potentially coming to Switch. There's something here. There's the building blocks. All it'll take is for Nintendo and Toys for Bob to do something with it.
Indeed, and actually, please do it. I don't know, I was joking about Spyro and Smash earlier, but fucking do it. Put Spyro and Crash in Smash, why not?
Oh yeah, like, Spyro wasn't even in PlayStation All-Stars.
No. Yeah, neither was Crash because they didn't own him. So, that's the stupidest thing they ever fucking done, by the way. And actually, I'm kind of glad they never bought Crash or Spyro, because look what they've done with Jack. So, I think, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Crash and Spyro was better in Activision's hands than Sony's at this point. You disagree with that?
Activision's one of those companies that, like, honestly, I will probably, like, if they do something good, I'll acknowledge it, but, like, like, theirs is definitely a professional relationship between publisher and customer. Not one of those holy crap, anything they put out is going to be really good. But it's more along the lines of, okay, yeah, you put out this game, I like this game.
Yeah, No, Activision are greedy scumbags, but so is every company, so can't really complain that much.
Most companies. Yeah.
Most companies are. But yeah, that was good. That was a good conversation.
Hopefully you got enough to work with
We
in
do.
editing.
Yeah, we do. Just cut it up a bit and splice it together. Try and make some sense out of it. Should be fine. Anything else you want to add before I hit the stop record?
No, not really.
Okay, well, goodbye.